My name is Ekaterina. This is BRICS Youth Camp. And so, who you are? What is your name?
I'm Leonardo Sobreyra, and I'm here attending the camp with great pleasure as representing Brazil 247, where I work.
Okay, so tell about you and about your work, few words.
Yes, so Brazil 247 is really the largest alternative independent news outlet in Brazil and perhaps Latin America. I'm not sure about whether or not it's the largest in Latin America, but it's definitely amongst the top ones. I hold the position of executive editor, so I'm in charge of really editing the news, but also, striking deals with our partners and really thinking about the general direction of the editorial line of the vehicle.
Okay, so you work with media, and you know everything about it. Can you name 3 problems which now is very popular?
Well, I actually refer to perhaps the biggest problem facing the media ecosystem in Brazil right now, or ever since the 1970s really, is the fact that it's dominated by corporate interests. So the big problem in Brazil is that you have a high concentration in 5 families really of media power, and these are the biggest media conglomerates in the country, and of course they set the agenda, they pressure the government to do this and that. And we really like to think that at Brazil 247 we have managed to create a different system where we're not so reliant on corporate deals, for example, and we actively encourage our audience to finance us voluntarily. And that has really created a different relationship between our journalists and our audience. And I think that's really what the whole project of Brazil 24/7 is about, and to serve really as a counter force to these big conglomerates.
Okay, so this is your first time in BRICS Youth Camp?
Yes, it's my first time in the BRICS Youth Camp. Yes.
Here you're a participant and also expert, right?
Yes, I was invited as an expert actually.
Yes, because you have a very big experience, and also, all this story that you told me, so impressed me a lot. And so how do you find the topic of the BRICS Youth Camp this year, and what are your expectations maybe?
I feel like the topic of addressing the modern media challenges in the BRICS countries is a really suited one. We're all aware that the BRICS countries have very different media systems. Brazil, India, and South Africa perhaps are very similar in that regard, in that their media systems are fairly open. There are differences, of course, and what I refer to as the biggest problem in Brazil is actually, from my conversations with Indian and South African colleagues, I could notice that that's a very big problem as well in their countries. Of course, when it comes to Russia and China, the relationship between the media and the government is a lot closer, and so we have to understand those differences. And I don't really have the position of judging those 2 particular countries for having those systems. I don't think one system is particularly better than the other, because really what you have in Brazil is an unsustainable model, and the way we're fighting this is really at our own initiative. It's not something that has ever been done before. So we all face very similar problems, I think, generally, as well as BRICS countries, and in particular as regards media. I think we have a lot of knowledge to exchange, and I hope the camp really serves that purpose.
Okay, so this is your first time in Russia?
It's actually my second time in Russia. So I was here last winter. Okay,
and how it was?
It was a rough winter. I heard it was one of the most intense winters in a while. So heavy snow, and I was in Moscow. So you know, I could still enjoy it, of course. It was great to really, I spent a month here, and it was just great to come with people from Latin America. So I came with a group of Latin American people to take part in a program called Russia, sponsored by the Gorchakov Fund and Sputnik News Agency. And it was just great. It was a great, very intense program. And that was that part of it. I've always actually wanted to see what Russian winter is like, but maybe one time was enough. Yeah.
So, and this is your first time in Ульяновsк, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So today you visited museum. So your impressions?
It was great to see the Lenin Museum. You know, he is a figure of such importance in world history. And to see how he actually spent the first years of his life as a normal person is always fascinating, because I think we always lose this sense of, you know, when it comes to these figures, we always lose this sense that they were actually just normal people living a normal life. And it was great to see the story as well of the whole family. The whole family had a sort of revolutionary impetus.
Yeah.
And you know, Lenin's brother, for example, was executed because of that. And it was just great to hear the stories. I really found it very impressive. And also, I would like to commend the fact that it was so well preserved. I think here they did a really good job at preserving not only the house, but the whole street, so you can get the whole vibe of what it was like to be in the sort of still 19th century in that street. I could sort of like feel as part of that history still. Yeah.
Yeah, great. So, and yesterday you also visited the festival, the film festival. So maybe you also have something to say about it?
Yeah, it was great to see the performances. I wasn't expecting so many performances, but they were so great. The dance performances in particular, the ballet, which is something that very rarely I had seen, and it's perhaps not so common in Brazil, and of course Russia is so famous for it.
Yeah.
And it was great to see that performance. And also there was a dance performance that mixed ballet, and it looked a little bit more 21st century, and I really enjoyed to see that mix up. And of course we were there to actually see the production by III/BRICS of the Dostoevsky movie, or documentary, if you might call it that as well.
Yeah, right.
It was great. I actually had seen that before because they promoted it in Brazil. It was done in collaboration with some Brazilian media. And I'm a huge Dostoevsky fan, and it was great to see the impact that he has made all over the world, really.
Okay, so thank you so much for the interview.
Thank you.
Thank you.